I had no idea what I was in for. What was supposed to be some simple recon mission at a casino for Bruce Wayne soon turned into an intense, hostage situation calling for the need of Batman. This action-packed opener set the dark tone and pace for the game, and it didn't let up. Hi, this is Chris, and this is Game Watch's review of Season 2, Episode 1 of The Batman, The Enemy Within. Batman Season 1 was a solid introduction to Telltale's take on The Dark Knight, and after playing Episode 1 of The Enemy Within, I'm sold on the future of Telltale and DC's partnership. The Enigma was a fantastic startup to what looks to be another great season of Batman. In this episode, trust is clearly the theme. As both Batman and Bruce, you seem to start off on a clean slate with the supporting cast and the rest of Gotham. But like the Riddler says in the beginning, trust is hard-won and easily lost. In this episode, I was caught asking myself whether I wanted a certain character's trust over another's, or if I was willing to completely ruin a relationship to gain an advantage. In Batman Season 2, we have some returning characters such as Commissioner Gordon, Alfred, Lucius, and John Doe. But also some new faces such as the Riddler, the main villain of this episode, Amanda Waller, director of the agency, and Tiffany, Lucius' tech geek daughter. Gordon and Waller both presented me with some hard decisions of whether I wanted to continue working with my trusted friend Commissioner Gordon and the GCPD, or the mysterious Amanda Waller and her team of well-equipped agents called the agency. Alfred seems to be experiencing some form of PTSD after the events of Season 1, which really made me feel bad about some of the choices that I made earlier. And the addition of Tiffany really makes for a good story arc that we can't wait to explore further in the game. Her relationship with her dad and the Wayne family is a perfect fit to an already existing story. The villains of this episode are the Riddler and John Doe, who's undoubtedly on track to become the Joker. Even though you're not physically fighting John, every single scene that he's in made me feel tense and unsettled. In Season 1, I promised John a favor as Bruce, and he was constantly reminding me of it, making him in control of the situation and Bruce powerless. The Riddler, although being the main villain of this episode, was one of the less interesting characters. The Riddler was a lot more violent than expected and a lot less cerebral, which was weird because Batman fans expected more psychological approach to the character. I also expected to solve more riddles in this episode, but you'd only get to solve two. The Riddler was by no means a bad villain. He just didn't feel Riddler enough. All in all, this episode makes for some brutally hard choices which keep you deeply invested in the story. Along with the amazing story, Season 2 also offers new and better gameplay elements. The combat has improved from Season 1 and feels more fluid. It also allows you to make combat decisions on the fly, like the really funny and satisfying choice to either soccer kick or anchor punch an enemy. I chose soccer kick, and I was not disappointed as I watched Batman unleash the kick heard around the world on this poor guy's face. These subtle choices actually made me feel like I was engaging in combat and not just watching another cutscene. Back in Season 1 is the ability to investigate crime scenes and link together the clues. I really enjoyed these moments overall, but as I said earlier, I just wish the ones involving the Riddler would have been more challenging. The investigations and the use of Batman's many gadgets helped to add to the feel of being the world's greatest detective. One of the highlights of Season 1 was the ability to play as Bruce Wayne and explore the story from his point of view. Telltale Games has done such a good job with the story that I enjoyed my time playing with Bruce just as much as I did with Batman. In fact, I can't wait to replay a certain section of the story as Bruce to find out exactly how those choices would have played out. Unlike the launch of Season 1, The Enemy Within is a clean, glitch, and bug-free experience that left me very impressed with how smooth it played. Most of the same voices are back, such as Troy Baker as Bruce and Batman, Murphy Geyer as Commissioner Gordon, and Ian Rattel as Alfred. All of the returning voice actors fit their roles perfectly, but I did have a small issue with the new voice of Montoya. Her voice just seemed out of place to me, as if she was trying too hard to replicate the Montoya from Season 1. Another issue I found was within the continuity of the game. Enemy Within is set only a year after the events of Season 1, yet almost every character gets a redesign, making them look much older. Tiffany is also introduced, who appears to be in her early 20s or late teens, but in Season 1 she's only mentioned to be a child. It's not a big deal, but it did pull me out the game for a second. We also have the return of some great musical scores from the first season and the addition of some new ones. Everyone's theme seems fitting and really carries the action of the game. The Enigma is a well-presented episode, and I hope Telltale keeps it up for the coming 4 episodes. I haven't felt this excited for the next episode of a Telltale game since season 1 of The Walking Dead. The story and the gameplay just came together to provide a great experience overall. I constantly questioned every choice I made, and I genuinely felt guilt and regret over some of my previous choices from season 1. At the end, I was left thinking about Riddler's earlier warning about trust. Somehow he had been right all along, and I completely fell right into his trap. As the credits rolled from The Enemy Within, I was unsure of who I can trust and who still trusted me. Hands down, this is a great episode, and it left me eager to see how it's going to all play out this season.